Hello, Internet, once again. This is our podcast. I'm Josh Allen, aka Lore. I'm joined by Mike B, aka Fony.
Hi.
Hi. And so we're gonna talk for a little while now, and don't get your hopes up.
One day it's gonna lose its novelty, and we're gonna like really like hate that part for a few episodes, and then it's gonna get really funny. It's gonna have that upswing where it's gonna go beyond that point, and it's just gonna be hilarious every time.
Yeah, it's gonna be that sort of thing that like we hang on to the joke for way too long, and people are watching. They're like, "Oh God, I always skip like the first 60 seconds because they're just gonna make that same stupid "don't get your hopes up" joke." So we'll have to start mixing it in later on, like midway through some topic. So, by the way, everybody in the internet is dead now, and don't get your hopes up, and blah, 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 blah.
We'll just like naturally work it into a conversation. So this was supposed to happen, but both at the same time we have to cue ourselves, right? Don't get your hopes up, right? We could do that.
Play a laugh track right after. That'll be perfect.
All right.
So now that we've wasted like forever, hi Internet, how's it going? We're talking about stuff. There was a million
earlier than normal this week.
Earlier than normal, yes, because Mike B has to go. He's being shipped out tomorrow.
Yes,
to Seattle.
I'm being deployed to PAX.
Yes,
I'm heading to Washington.
Excellent. He's been conscripted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, doing the show a little bit early this week. I know everyone is really upset about that. Believe us, we understand. If we had to listen to us, we would be upset too. But there were a billion things that happened this last week. To the point that there's like not even a good place to start with everything. Like this week was straight up nuts. So on Monday at like, I don't know, 10 a.m., I'm sitting at my desk and all of a sudden people start linking to me like, oh, I guess Amazon's going to buy Twitch now. And everyone's like, nah, Google already did that, right? Google already bought Twitch. It's already like a done deal. Everyone felt like that.
Even like we talked about it on the first episode, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And we were like, oh yeah, I mean, it's not technically confirmed yet, but everybody knows that's what's going to happen.
That's why it was a pilot. That's why it's called a pilot.
Yeah, exactly. Because we didn't actually do the full amount of intense research that we do on every single one of our topics.
Yes, that. For a substantial amount of money too.
Yes.
And I want to say more than what was the Google?
Google. Well, Google the number that was being thrown around by the rumor mill was like 1.2 billion for Google was going to buy Twitch.
That's right.
Yeah, and Amazon bought Twitch for, what was it, like 978 million or something like that? Like, it wasn't quite a billion.
Deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Amazon. What do you expect? They probably got free shipping too. So yeah.
So $970 million is obviously that is definitely not a small amount of money.
I mean, I have that, but
oh yeah, totally.
Most of the people listening probably don't.
I think what was probably the most interesting thing was the reaction. I mean, first off, we've known that Amazon is serious about games.
Yeah, for sure. And they've been way stepping up their like online streaming presence in so many different ways, like through Prime Video, like actually has things on it that's worth watching now from time to time. And they just launched like their music streaming service, which is like Spotify but kind of crappy. Like they have several not quite very good things that they've put out themselves, so it's actually not terribly surprising that they just sort of went, let's just buy somebody that knows what they're doing.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, and then they have the Fire TV.
Yeah.
That has they have their own controller, and It's funny. They are just like Google in so many ways. They have all these things that are like very much hit and miss. Like Google puts something out like Wave, and then it's just like, oh, well, that's shit, and then it goes away.
Amazon is like Google in the same way that Costco is like Walmart. Like, they sell all sort of the same stuff, but at Costco you get way more of it for way cheaper, and it's probably not quite as nice.
Well, I mean, their phone like failed like 33,000 sales, I think.
Yeah, like their phone
Amazon
just
phone?
completely. Like, first of all, I don't know who thought an Amazon phone was a good idea. Like, there's already like 3. So there's iOS and there's Android, and those are like the big phone things right now.
BlackBerry and Windows right behind it.
Yeah, right behind it. Again, in the same way that, like, I don't know, San Francisco is right behind LA, like basically right next to each other if you ignore several hundred miles.
Wait. Sorry, a little tangent. We were just discussing this about the earthquake that happened the other day up here in just north of where I live, and how people were hitting up Lore asking if he was okay when he lives some 550 miles south from me.
Yeah, like people legit worried that like Blizzard was going to fall into the ocean because San Francisco had an earthquake. And yeah, I mean, I understand. It's like, if you're not from an area, geography of that area is a little bit confusing, but maybe your first step should be to look on a map. Like, maybe figure that out for it. But anyway, super side tangent. But yeah, like there's already, I don't know why we were talking about the phone, but like there's already.
It was just something that didn't take off for them.
Yeah, exactly. They've had all these different sort of like halfway, like Prime Video even, which, like I said, is now getting to the point where there's actually some stuff worth watching on it. But that's taken them like 2 years now to get to that point. Like, it's taken a while. And even then, like, I used to watch a whole bunch of Food Network shows on Prime Video, and they just lost all of those very recently. So you can't watch Chopped on there anymore, and it's heartbreaking.
Wow, that's so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's, man, I don't even know how I make it through.
So they
bought Twitch.
Yeah, so they bought Twitch, and for them to make an acquisition like that, I thought that was pretty unusual, because I don't really hear too much about Amazon acquisitions. But there are lots and lots. I mean, there might be tons of Amazon acquisitions, but I don't hear about them, which means they're just not necessarily news. But Google, like, every time they acquire someone, it's news. Just like today or yesterday, they acquired a special effects startup called Zinc, right? And it's just like they just are constantly absorbing little things here and there.
They're literally the tech world's Katamari.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. I've got analogies coming out my ass today.
Yeah, that's exactly. You should have made an analogy for that, actually.
Much like poop.
Oh man, the timing's perfect. So anyways, the in the end, it was like people were just like, "Oh, Amazon bought it. Oh, well, that's kind of interesting."
Yeah, exactly.
When it was rumored that Google and YouTube was like, "Oh, they're gonna fuck it all up with the comments, and you have to use a Google Plus and all this stuff," because Google just not had a good track record lately with the way that it's handling any kind of like social media interactions, everything from Google Plus to the comment section on YouTube to and even to Wave. I mean, just like things are just not working out for them in terms of like connecting people.
You're watching this YouTube video and you would like to make a comment. Would you like to make that using your real name and home address?
Yeah, I think that's gone.
Yeah. I don't think they ever actually made you use your home address, but you could put it on your Google Plus profile. So I'm sure there were some people who were like, "This is stupid. I hate you, and I think you're ugly and fat." And it was like, "Oh, well, here's your home address." That'd be kind of amazing.
It's that episode, or that Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes, exactly.
When they go door to door.
Strike Backs. Yeah.
God, that was amazing.
Did you post? I don't even remember anymore. But yeah. So yeah, Twitch bought by Amazon. I think, like, personally for me, I'm way happier with Amazon buying Twitch than Google. Just, I have several reasons for this, actually. A bunch of them were stuff that we actually talked about in the pilot episode, which is things like is Twitch now going to have Content ID on it? And granted, they've already put their own like shitty half-ass version of Content ID in place, but like, are they going to have to start doing all the stuff that Google doesn't legally have to do, but just decides to anyway, in order to like protect copyrights, kind of, but not really?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a way for them to, again, that now I think it's pretty much common knowledge. It's like one of those things that they would do in order to make themselves more desirable to a possible suitor.
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
And that's just it. It's like, oh, hey, look, no, we're fine. We don't. So here's another thing too. So a couple of things actually on their copyright front, since we're here. They actually are now removing the audio from the 30-minute chunk that the infraction occurs. Because before, I don't know if you saw my tweet that first day, I was just like, oh yeah, well, you could just go in the back end and get it. And I was right. You went and download the file and the audio was still there. Well, yeah, the websites popped up all over the place. And then, they were able to, I guess they were just like, well, that's now too easy to get it. And we look like dicks, so let's just mute it. And they stripped
no
the
one
audio.
saw this company.
Yeah. But if you look at the back end of a Twitch feed, it chops up to, I think it's 28 minutes and 30 seconds is for each individual chunk. And when the so this came up today because Shizzle, most of you guys know him, Shizzle, 5 Hizzle, my Nizzle, right? He had an infraction, or whatever you want to call it, and he had the first 30 minutes of one of his casts muted.
Oh yeah, I saw him tweeting about that.
It was muted because, and this is the only thing that occurred throughout that stream. There was music that was played, but it's music he plays every day. And it's always very clear. It's not background music. It's just music up front. Boom. Right. He rotates through artists and it's the same shit. He never gets nailed. But in that cast, somebody was humming the Lord of the Rings theme song in direct chat in DayZ. And that chunk basically got muted or something. Yeah, that chunk got muted. And so it's like, yes, you're right. It's still not great.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, maybe getting Content ID would have been a better thing. But honestly, the bigger thing for me is that YouTube streaming is starting to become more of a thing. And I feel like the biggest thing that the online streaming sort of industry really desperately needs right now is a competitor to Twitch.
Yep.
Because there's so much stuff, like Twitch does this, their silly 30-minute block out because someone was humming Lord of the Rings because they can, because what are people going to do? Not stream on Twitch anymore? There go all of your viewers. Like, yeah, there's Hitbox, but like, Hitbox, by the way, in case anyone is unsure, is I'm trying to remember exactly what this. Yeah, it's Own 3D basically, or Own, however you want to say it. The guy that was running Owned and as such owes a whole bunch of streamers a whole ton of money. Went bankrupt, and I forget exactly how he's involved in Hitbox, but it's one of the very, very senior top level positions like CEO or chief financial officer or something like that of Hitbox. So maybe he's turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, as I perhaps off to a bad start with Owned.
Yeah,
but you're right. There does need to be some kind of competition for Twitch, and Twitch being acquired by Google is not competition for Twitch.
Yeah, exactly. It means that, like, especially now looking at this and saying, okay, Google clearly has a vested interest. If they were willing to make an offer on Twitch in the first place or consider buying Twitch, they very much obviously have an interest in making streaming a thing that is more in the forefront for them. So maybe now Google will then say, right, well, we didn't get Twitch. Amazon got Twitch. So instead, now we're going to focus on making YouTube streaming really, really awesome. Maybe that's a potential way that things can go. It's not a guaranteed thing. It's possible. It's a hell of a lot more possible than it would have been if Google bought Twitch. So, yeah.
Like, YouTube streaming is actually not bad. It's just not refined. And it's also it's a little clunky.
It is a little clunky.
The quality is actually not too bad. Well, up till recently. Recently, I would say Twitch probably kind of overtook them a little bit. Especially like the VOD storage is really, really looking good. But yeah, the quality, the system itself, as I checked 6 months ago, is actually not that terrible. So they don't have very far to go, and they already have the pre-installed user base in order to make that happen. They just have to find a way to separate, because right now they're basically swimming in like Uncle Scrooge's money bin of shitty videos, and they have to find a way to basically take good live content and basically raise that to the surface and make it accessible to users.
Yeah, exactly. Like they even have a couple of features that are better than what Twitch has available. Like you can rewind a live broadcast in YouTube, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like that's one of the coolest things. Like I don't know why Twitch doesn't have that right now. Yeah, it's so good. The biggest problem that YouTube streaming has right now is the viewer interaction side of things. Like the way that their chat works is just horrid.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, so
it tries to make it like comments, but not. And
it just makes it very, very hard to engage with your user base, or your viewer base, which anybody who has spent any amount of time as a dedicated streamer will quickly jump up to explain that, yes, engaging with your viewer base and making sure that there's a reason for them to want to watch you. Maybe they watch you because you're, I don't know, freaking Dyrus or something, and you're just really good at whatever it is you're streaming. Most of the time they watch because they want to interact with the person on the stream. They want to hear their name and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
and
of course.
When the chat is that awful, then like you even watch on Twitch, like sometimes Twitch has problems with their chat servers and streamers just say it's not even worth it for me to try to stream today because they can't interact. Yeah.
But see but that's the thing. It's like everybody else as a competitor has to first get to the level that YouTube's live service. And then they could think about taking it to the next step and getting to be as good as Twitch is. Yeah. Whereas YouTube is already there. And so, obviously they're already there at their spot, but they're just so close to being able to push it to the next level. So, man, it could be something as simple as like going the Ustream route and making it really simple. Like Justin actually had this too, being able to stream from your phone, your mobile device. Very easily. They already have the YouTube app, and God, is that even an option to do it? I don't even know. But it's still, it's like they just have so much already there. They just need to take that next step. And so Twitch going to Amazon is actually, on top, for a number of reasons. Amazon, if you look at the back end of like any company's CDN, any website that uses a CDN service or something, you'll probably see them using something that's related to Amazon servers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like that's definitely the big win for Twitch in this whole situation is
ingestion servers everywhere.
Oh yeah. Like now, if they have access to Amazon's like server cluster capabilities, I don't even know the right term there. If they have access to the things that make Amazon run, now hopefully we can stop having so much crappy. Why is your video easier to watch on 720 than it is on Source, even though you're streaming at 720? This is the worst. Like, there's been so many like congestion related issues with Twitch for so long, and it's no bad thing on Twitch either. It's a tough thing to have to deal with as rapidly as that site has grown. Like, all of a sudden, like you go from, well, on a good day we're serving 20,000 viewers to now it's 200,000 viewers to now it's 2 million viewers to now it's like, okay, we have actually the entire population of a large country is now watching Twitch at any given moment in time. We have to find some way to actually get all that data out to people. If they now have access to high-end Amazon server clusters in an easier way, then that's only a good thing.
So, speaking of Twitch users, Twitch has actually surpassed on several occasions, CNN, MSNBC, so basically like all the news, except for Fox News somehow, and MTV. So like that's pretty, we may rag on MTV for a bunch of stuff, but they still get viewers, but Twitch is just very quickly starting to dominate that scene.
Yeah, for sure.
And they will continue to grow.
Yeah, for a site that hasn't been around as long as some of these other players, like they pull. I don't remember what it was I was looking at, but there was something I was looking at where it was talking about like where Twitch fits in terms of overall viewership or readership during internet prime time, basically. And it was like, okay, there's Apple, there's a couple of other sites that I don't remember now, and there's Twitch. And Twitch was literally like number 4 on the list in terms of what are people doing when they're it was like Netflix and it was in terms of overall bandwidth use during.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I just remembered that I was saying
like
totally wrong.
Spam, porn, Twitch. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it was literally like YouTube, Netflix, Apple. I would assume through iTunes, and then Twitch. It's like, okay, so this is a pretty big deal, and now like they just have access to so much more infrastructure capability.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're gonna see this stuff coming to like the Fire TV.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see more integration there. To everything. I mean, like where else could they possibly put this?
I hope that Amazon doesn't try to take it like super proprietary, which is something they have been doing with a lot of their stuff recently. Like they even have their own app store on Android, which is weird.
And the Amazon instant video app does not stream to Chromecast.
Yeah. So hopefully they don't go, all right, well, thanks everybody. Now you have to buy Amazon product. Like hopefully Amazon is not using this as a way to muscle people into buying more Amazon products, because they do, like you were saying earlier, like their phone just flat failed. Like it sold so few. And I guarantee that all the people that have it right now are like, why did I buy this? Like,
it's the reviewers.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that that's not the result of this. Twitch is claiming that they have a very high degree of autonomy. So hopefully that's true. And hopefully that lasts as well.
I mean, to an extent. We'll I mean, the thing is, like, there are benefits to both ends. I mean, Amazon has a really, really strong and really complex recommendation engine. And now I made a joke about, so you enjoy watching streams with people that curse, all the time or whatever. So you may enjoy such and such and shizzle and blah, blah, blah. And it's like that engine it's basically,
viewers who watch shizzle also watched, never mind. We probably shouldn't say that on this podcast.
It's a prediction algorithm, and it's really good. And so it's just one of those things where it's like they can utilize that somehow. There are ways to put that in. Right now they already have like the hosting service, right? And so just off the top of my head, so what they could probably do is, to a streamer, whenever the streamer signs off, they could say, hey, your people that watch your show or watch your shows also watch these guys. Do you want to host them to keep them on your channel?
Yeah, like if they could, just arming streamers with that amount of information even is like if they can say to a streamer, like a partner especially, like someone that they've obviously decided that they want to support, they can say, okay, after you turned off your stream, this is what all of your people went and did. Like, that is such an incredibly valuable metric to be able to keep an eye on. And Twitch has some metrics already, but nothing quite so, like, they don't even have something as simple as, here is, when you streamed this game, here are the stats for that. When you stream this game, here are the stats for that. Like, that seems obvious to me.
Yeah, because you're changing the name, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, they have a categorization feature. And if you screw it up and decide you're going to stream Minecraft when you're actually, like, listed as Call of Duty, that's your own stupid fault. But, like, if I'm streaming World of Warcraft, and then I'm streaming Hearthstone, and then I'm streaming DayZ or something, like, it should keep track of all those metrics and let me go, okay, what was I looking at? Or what were people watching? How engaged were people in the chat room in these different things? So then I can look and say, oh, when I was streaming DayZ, my chat was going crazy. So that means that when I'm streaming DayZ, I should be engaging with them more. I should be encouraging that more. I should be making sure that I'm keeping an eye on the chat room as much as possible when I'm playing DayZ, because that's a better way for me to engage with my audience at that point. Yeah. If I'm playing World of Warcraft, my chat was super silent because they were obviously enthralled by the amazing World of Warcraft content that was being displayed on the screen, and they had it on full screen so that they could take in every glorious pixel. Obviously.
and just because I know the first thing that maybe someone would think is like, well, you just streamed, you would know where those things are, where they're coming from. It's like you're not going to get a good one day of streaming is not a good sample size. Yeah. This is like, imagine at the end of a month of streaming, you can actually aggregate all of the individual game data and look to see and compare them on different pivot metrics and see where they sit versus the other games that you played. And that is hugely, it is so invaluable to a streamer to be able to see, like, what games they should be focusing on and how they should be handling those particular games. Yeah,
and being able to like weigh that against different metrics too. Like I might say, well, I feel like when I stream WoW, I get like 400 viewers regularly, but when I stream I don't know, Blacklight Retribution, I'm only getting like 130 viewers or something like that. I feel like that's how that works out. But then, like, being able to compare those metrics to, okay, how long did I stream? Like, what time of day was I streaming? There's so many different factors that can weigh in there that it's tough for someone. Like, you basically have to be keeping track of that stuff by yourself now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen.
That's something that a lot of like really, really serious hardcore, I'm going to make my living off of doing nothing but streamers will do, is to keep track of all that stuff.
And this is stuff that obviously is not that they could do it on their own. Yeah. But there are certain things that they could take from tools that they could take from Amazon and implement to basically make development of this stuff a lot faster. There's a lot of stuff that people don't see on the back end of like even the games they play that are not made by that game company. It's like basically it could be like a plug and play tracking and metrics service, and it was developed by some third party, and it just essentially plugs right in, and they're able to send metrics to wherever they want to about anything they want in the game. But it wasn't created by that game company. It's basically a licensed piece of software. That's the same thing that Amazon could do, and that's again, Amazon's got tons of money and tons of tools. They could very easily throw a couple things at Twitch, which is, only 3 years deep, really. Yeah. In terms of like development time and everything, maybe 4 development time, but and they could really help them step up their games and really make the experience better for the streamer and for the viewer.
Yeah, for sure. The most important thing of this whole...
I knew it was coming.
The most important thing of this, though, is that now maybe eventually we will get to see Twitch plays Amazon. Because how amazing would it be to order something from Amazon and they put it on one of their drones, and then the chat room determines how the drone flies.
I would totally... the image was better.
I would buy something just to watch that. I would buy something. I would buy something expensive just to watch chat room try to pilot it to their own houses. Like, I don't even care where it ends up at that point.
Oh God, the provisions you have to put in. It's like, do not descend to X number of feet. Do not. Yeah. No. But, so yeah. So that little thing you did.
Yeah, I did a thing and I got like 1,200. Hang on, let me check. Let me check.
Because it may have gone up since then.
It may have. It hasn't. 1,252 retweets.
Oh, it hasn't moved.
No, it hasn't moved. And 1,025 favorite. It dropped off actually pretty quick. It like exploded, like as viral tweets often do. Like it exploded like crazy, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever done in my entire life." And I'm like doing this stupid, like, I just had something crazy internet happen. The sort of thought processes of like, what's my next viral tweet gonna be?
I gotta be careful what I say next because now I'm famous.
Yeah, exactly. And then like within 12 hours, it was just dead.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna next year sometime. I'm gonna retweet that. I'm gonna make sure I'm the last person to retweet that shit.
Good.
And then we're gonna retire it.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations to you.
What was funny about that is I started getting tweets from like various Twitter services that were like, congratulations on your 250-star tweet. Congratulations on your 500-star tweet. And I'm like, really? This is an interesting marketing gimmick.
Twitter achievements?
It was like fave star or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, congratulations on your 500-star tweet, whatever.
I have successfully won the internet. I can now retire from the internet. I don't know. Speaking of the internet.
Oh, man.
Everything was just as it always is on the internet this week. At least lately. Which is to say, completely full of utter nonsense all week.
Yes. So a bunglefuck of nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't even know is that an actual word? I don't know. I don't know what that. But
it is now.
Last week was the whole.
It was DDoS-orama this last week.
Yeah, no. This week, yeah. Last week it was. Oh yeah,
last
all the
week
drama
was
surrounding Depression Quest.
The Depression Quest thing, yeah, which is still ongoing.
It's still no. You know what? It's actually following the course that is natural in these situations, which is obviously there's the spark, and then there's like the actual drama, and then there's like the weird spin on the drama. And then there's like everybody's throwing in their opinions and everyone hating everyone else and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. If you're not with us, you're with them. And then
weird random websites start running features like, was Depression Quest funded by ISIS and crap like that.
Yeah. And then we reach the end, which is like basically this cigarette after sex thing, which is like what we learned from such and such and such, like what we took away from such and such, controversy, and that's what's happening right now.
Such and such wearing horse masks.
Yeah. Yes, because that's how you make things gaming related. Exactly.
I had to. So yeah. That's starting to wind down now, and that's not even what we were here to talk about. This week was like all of a sudden DDoSes and bomb threats and swatting and more doxing, and which by the way is a stupid term.
We talked about this. How is it a stupid term?
Because
Doxing.
it's spelled with X's. It's the sort of thing that it's like Stained, right? Like the band Stained, they took the E out to be edgy. Like that's the level of how it's spelled. This is.
It's like Stained and Flickr
and Limp Bizkit. Yeah. Like it's that level of really, guys, really.
And Tumblr.
Are you somehow now speaking code?
Doxing. It's been around for. It's one of those words. It's just been around forever, and it's just the way it is. It's like leet. It's like LOL. Right? I mean, it's just something that's just what it is. Doxing. And for those unfamiliar, essentially it's maliciously obtaining or basically
so what you would say is that you're pro-doxing.
Everything on somebody. Address, passwords, different accounts for various services. Everything on that person is mostly geared towards their internet life. Because usually the only thing you get from their personal life is like their name, address, phone number, maybe some family members or something like that, and that's pretty much it. But that happened to Phil Fish. Yeah, and it was actually the group that claimed to do it. Actually, it was related to the Depression Quest thing that happened last week. Because Phil Fish, he came out of hibernation and he made a few comments, called Total Biscuit a nerd. And then he closed down his account again.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I don't know if I was talking to. I was talking to somebody, Olivia, who a lot of you guys might know. I'm not sure if I was talking to Olivia or if I was talking to Lindsay, but I just remember I was talking to someone, and then Phil Fish tweeted, which is obviously unusual, and it was a link to something, and I went and it said something Fez, and I downloaded it. I started downloading the file. It was like 1.5 gigabytes. And you know what I thought it was?
You were like, oh my God, it's Fez 2.
That's exactly what I thought it was. I thought it was Fez 2. I was like, oh shit, Phil Fish lost his mind. He's just going to release it.
He's just been trolling this whole time. He really was working on it. Oh my God, Christmas came early.
I was so excited. And then I started, and then the Polytron Twitter account started tweeting stuff, like just really obscene, silly stuff, and I was like, wait a second. And then I looked it up, and it was like, I found a pastebin for it. The pastebin basically was like, oh yeah, it's all of his username and passwords for everything. I was like, I don't care about this stuff. Who cares about Phil Fish's personal life? Damn it. I want Fez 2.
I don't even care about his public life.
Yeah, right. Honestly, I don't even care about Fez 2. I cared, like, the teaser was enough. Like, that was Fez 2 for me. Yeah. The teaser was all I needed.
I did actually, as a side note, because it's free this month on PlayStation Plus, I'm downloading Fez onto my PlayStation now.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I might actually finally play that. And
well, that's gonna be unfortunate because it's like so weirdly hyped for you. Like I can't even say like just straight hype because hype is like saying very positive things.
It's gonna be like if it's 2014 and you're just watching The Princess Bride.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's a true thing. So some movies just don't, like, just like games, they don't quite hold up to the test of time. Castlevania 2, really awesome game. I feel like I could play it right now. I'll play it for like 2 seconds. I'd be like, fuck it, where was the holy water? Frick it, never mind. I don't care.
What is this? When I jump, I keep moving? That's stupid. That's not how jumping works.
Why is it every time I swing my mace, it doesn't, my whip, it doesn't, I can't keep walking forward. What's going on? God.
Yeah.
I can't jump upstairs. God damn it. And I don't want to play that game at all.
We're going way on tangents again, but screw it. I repurchased Metroid Prime Trilogy the other day so I could play it on the Wii.
Wait, they made 3 of those?
Yeah, they made 2 of them on GameCube and then one of them on they actually made like 3 Metroid games on the Wii. But there was like Other M, which everyone was like, this is terrible, so I never played it because I love Metroid and I don't want to hate it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was like some Metroid weird spin-off thing, I think, and then there was Metroid Prime 3, which everyone was like, oh my god, it's amazing. And like, truth be told, Metroid on the Wii is like beautiful. Like, it makes me go, holy crap. Why were there not more games like this developed for the Wii? Like, because the way that they have the controls work, it just feels so ridiculously natural. Like, it's almost better than mouse and keyboard for a first-person shooter. Like, almost. Not quite, but almost. It's amazing.
Damn.
So I was playing that again, and, like, obviously I was like I say, I was really loving the controls. But, like, I'm running around going through the same zones that I went through a billion times the first time, because I decided, you know what, I'm going to play all 3 of them. All 3, right straight through. And I played all the way through the first one, Metroid Prime. And I'm like running through these same zones over and over and over again, and I'm getting lost. And I'm like, I don't remember where I'm supposed to go, God. And by the end of it, 40 hours of gameplay later, I'm like, and I'm looking at Metroid Prime 2, and I'm like, no. Just no.
So
Phil Fish is dead now.
Rolling back. So the big DDoS. So we Smedley, John Smedley, who is who's basically in charge of everything SOE related.
Yeah. Awesome guy, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I've always appreciated how candid he's been. He's always been
like he just streams gameplay and just chats about whatever he feels like, and it's kind of awesome.
And he's up front. He's all like, "I've never done this before, so it probably looks like shit."
Yeah.
But just everything he does is usually very candid, and that sometimes it's to a fault. Like he'll say something, but like, yes, we're gonna do this thing like H1Z1. It's gonna be beta by the end of this month, and then like it doesn't happen. But it's like you after you get a chance to know him or just kind of follow his stuff for so long, you kind of know what to expect when he says things like that. Yeah. But anyways, very direct. It wasn't that his plane was randomly selected for a bomb threat. Like on the bomb threat lottery, it was his plane specifically that was targeted.
Yeah, like the hacker group that is claiming responsibility for all these like DDoSs and everything. Which, by the way, I should also mention that like this was the same day that PSN got like a big DDoS attack. Mm-hmm. BattleNet got a big DDoS attack. I believe League of Legends. At least was claimed to have a big DDoS attack. I didn't see anything about that personally, but I also didn't really look. So there's that. A bunch of stuff like, and Path of Exile, which by the way, really, Path of Exile.
Aw, leave them alone.
No. It's a great game.
Not you. I'm just saying, like, why those guys? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Probably... Like it's a great game and all, but if you want to prove a point, you should probably not go after Barbie Adventures. Like, no one cares if you DDoS the small indie game studio that probably has trouble keeping the doors open. Just because I don't know why they would keep the doors open. They're an indie game studio. That's weird. But like keeping the lights on and stuff because they're an indie game studio and life's hard as an indie game studio.
Probably collateral damage.
Collateral, yeah.
I mean, they were probably
somehow or another they slipped and accidentally hit them instead of Diablo 3. I don't know.
They're just like bumming some servers off someone, and they just happen to get caught too. They're caught in the crossfire. Yeah. That's all. It happens. But yeah, so, no, it was a pretty widespread event, and it was funny. You know, it's funny. I feel like Anon or was it Blizzard's? Not Blizzard. Sorry, Lizard. Anon Lizard. Right? Is that this one? I don't know. So they.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, basically a group of script kiddies will will basically come around about on the same schedule that North Korea threatens to destroy North America. Like they're just kind of on that same schedule. Like it comes around, it's all like, oh god, these guys again. They're gonna take over the world. Oh boy.
It's like the phases of the moon.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. It's in retrograde, right?
We're in waxing gibbous, so that means Korea. We're in waning gibbous, so that means hackers.
But this week it wasn't, honestly, overall it wasn't too bad on the DDoS front. I mean, obviously it caused some pretty some difficulties for some. There are services that are out there to help mitigate some of this stuff, like Prolexic, which is essentially a service that kind of actively monitors traffic to stop a lot of DDoS spam. And it's actually pretty good. It's a pretty decent service. Outside of, it's not, there's downtime with the service, right? So it's like you can have downtime with the service that's equal to the amount of downtime you would get if you were just getting DDoS. Yeah. And just ate it.
Yeah. I know at least on the Blizzard side of things, like there isn't a ton that I can really say about it. But I know that we ended up like shutting down a lot of internal systems or having issues with a lot of internal systems as a result of trying to make sure that like the game still worked for players and everything. So like my email went down for a while earlier today, and it was like, this is because we shut down the email system because somebody decided to try and attack our servers again. And we found out that we could, I don't know, redirect it to, I don't know how any of this works, but it's the sort of thing where so that some guy can log into his Paladin on Tichondrius, you can't send email for the next 20 minutes, sort of thing. So,
and here's the thing: what a lot of people don't realize is whenever you DDoS someone and you take them down, if they're down for, if it's enough data where you are like flooding the data center and you are obviously, you're going to be taking down the site, but you're going to be taking down other sites that are related to that particular network, right?
Yeah.
They'll go down for, whatever amount of time that they're down for. The attack's over, they bring back everything, whatever. But then you'll get an email from the, whether it be your sysadmin, it wouldn't be your sysadmin, but it'd be like a sysadmin at whatever data center it is, or your host or your carrier or whatever. And they'll basically tell you, it's like, hey, if you keep having these crazy DDoS moments, we're actually going to have to shut you down for 24 hours just to protect the rest of our network. And that is a very, very real thing that will happen. And that's the worst part of the whole deal. It's like getting DDoS is like, okay, yeah, it sucks. Oh, okay. Well, now we're back. Yeah. It's the aftermath of potentially being shut down by your carrier because of these attacks for 24 hours of zero service.
Yep. It's very dangerous. I think that a lot of the bigger, like the ultra big things like PlayStation Network and so on, probably have some sort of agreement in place that's like, if we get DDoSed, like they're able to work it out to some degree just because they're freaking Sony. But yeah, if it's something like Path of Exile, like there's a risk of them just not being able to function for 24 hours as a result of this.
Yep.
So, and it's sad that this sort of thing even happens. And like the stupid thing that happened to these whatever it is, people that did it. I don't even want to say their like hacker name because like I don't want to give them the attention. But I mean, never mind the fact that we've been talking about it for like 20 minutes now. But like they did the whole like bomb threat thing on Smedley's plane, and he was like flying into San Diego, and he had to land in like Phoenix or something instead, and like did all this. We're gonna plant a bomb on your plane, and it's gonna blow up and kill everybody, and death to America, and like they started like tweeting that they were supporting ISIS.
Oh God!
And that's possibly the dumbest thing that they could have done, because. Like, if you DDoS PSN, you're in trouble with the FBI, maybe. Like, you're in trouble with, pretty much the FBI. Like, they're the people that will come after you if you are doing something of that brand of illegal.
That crosses borders, that's illegal.
Yeah. If you get into terrorism and supporting terrorism and threatening terrorism, now you've got the FBI, you've got the CIA, whatever remains of them at this point. You've got the NSA. You've got 17 different government agencies that don't even have acronyms because nobody knows they exist. Like,
you got SHIELD.
You got SHIELD, yeah. Freaking Captain America is going to show up on your front door and throw a shield at you because that's what he does for some reason. And you're in trouble.
But that hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
like
I would have regrets after getting hit by that.
Yeah, it does not look comfy. But it's the sort of thing that you've now taken yourself from being like you've gone from being a nuisance in an area that people don't really understand and are kind of about as a result, meaning the internet, into an area that people don't really understand and are terrified of and will actually launch missiles at your house. So best of luck to whoever these people are. I'm sure their information has been completely made available at this point to very scary people wearing very scary suits. And yeah.
And we'll never hear anything about it. I mean,
we'll never hear anything about it.
Well, yeah, whether or not like any information's been put out, whatever, it'll be a different group next time. It's always like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like that's how half of these guys run. Like people always say like, and I'm sure there's some sort of infrastructure in some capacity, but people are like, oh, Anonymous has done this. It's like someone that decided to call themselves Anonymous did this.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And it gets into the point sometimes where Anonymous starts to like claim that they didn't do something, and it's like, how can you possibly say that? You're Anonymous, like it's in the name. Yeah.
Speaking of anonymous people, I don't want to spend too much time on this one because we got a lot of stuff to.
We do. Yeah.
We got to talk about PAX, man. But this came up today, actually, as of this recording. Swatting. Which is not a new phenom, especially if you watch a lot of Twitch streams. You've probably seen this before, like popular streamers. So it's essentially what it is. And this happened to Swifty before.
Yeah.
But what happens is somebody gets a hold of your personal information, and while you're streaming, they'll call the cops to your house. And they do that by saying, I live at such and such address, and I heard gunshots coming from across the street. Or they'll do something.
There's a guy with a megaphone screaming about how he has a bomb.
Exactly, and that's
and it's the sort of stuff that like even if it sounds retarded to the operator at that point, like oh yeah sure whatever. In Irvine or something, there's someone who's that doesn't happen. It's Irvine. Like it doesn't matter because they still have to respond to it, right? Like they still have to go out and say. Oh, okay. Well, this is dangerous, and we need to make sure that there isn't actually this thing that we've decided is like a 20% chance of actually being legit. And yeah, sorry, I don't know why I said all that.
So the video I saw today from what was it, Cupra? I'll dig up the name in a second. But
the group, the like Counter-Strike group is called the Creatures, and it was like Kukri or something. I think was his name. Kutra, yeah.
So this guy Kutra, who streams constantly to a large group of people, seemed like a really nice guy. I don't know the guy. I don't watch him. I don't watch his stream, right? But just the way that he was very chill and relaxed, like he wasn't like, oh, internet, you guys are fucking dicks, blah blah blah. He was just like he heard yelling or something, like a scuffle, and he's like, I think I'm getting swatted. Yeah. And he's kind of like smiling. He's like, holy shit, like this is really happening. And it's funny. It kind of just, it wasn't even like this is really happening. It was kind of like, oh man, again. Like, he was just like really just oddly just nonchalant about the whole thing. And they come busting in the door with the guns and everything. They don't announce that they're police. They're just like, get on the ground, da 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 da, like yelling at him. They push him on the ground.
He's like already on the ground, and they're still yelling at him to get on the ground.
Yeah, right. The guy puts his boot in his back, and I don't want to like try to make this sound any more crazy than it is, because it was very run of the mill standard procedure for SWAT.
It wasn't like police brutality or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. The one guy does pick up his phone and start going through it, but we don't know if the phone was locked or not. And there was a recent amendment or something that went through. But basically, that now is actually against the Fourth Amendment. If your phone's locked, they cannot go into the phone without your consent or something. That doesn't necessarily mean they won't, of course. But the guy picks up the phone, starts walking away with it. But the stream is still recording. And he's basically just AFK in this match. Like his buddies like TK him, like I don't think they even know what's going on. And it was just to watch it. I was like, wow, man, like I saw the Swifty video and it was nothing like this. Yeah. It was just like, oh, hi there, John. So we got a call. Wonder if you know anything about that. Some crazy stuff happening here.
You're gonna need to come down with us.
I know. Yeah. Oh, well, guy, sorry. Do you think I can come by tomorrow? Oh, yeah, sure, John. Yeah, whenever you got a moment. We want to spend a second talk to you.
Well, they did actually arrest him, but yeah.
Yeah. But it was just so, like, it was the opposite of what I saw here. And the difference is, and there's a huge difference here, is that, these guys they don't know, this team does not know what it is they're going in on.
Yeah.
We saw it was just some dude streaming, nice guy. But what they think is there's someone with a gun, or someone with a bomb or something like that. And so, what if one of them accidentally, like, they come in, get on the ground, and some dude bumps Chuck's elbow or something, and bam, like Pulp Fiction style, right?
Well, or like, what if? Because lots of gamers will have, and I believe he even says in part of the video, he's like, there's some prop guns, yeah. Like, what if he's standing there holding like some fake gun and like showing it to his stream or something when this happens, and like they bust in the door and they see him holding a gun, and he just like, he's got a weapon, we got to drop him. So yeah, I don't know, it's definitely scary, and it's the sort of thing that at some point something bad will happen as a result of someone doing this.
And what if he had a dog?
Yeah, what if the dog freaks out? Like they're gonna shoot the dog.
They're gonna shoot the dog.
Yeah.
Or cat.
Yeah. Or cat.
I'd totally shoot a cat.
They would shoot a cat.
So yeah, that's the thing that kind of worries me the most. It's like, it's not, first off, it's not cool, obviously. It's not kosher. Like, keep trolling on the internet. Don't take it off the internet. But because of the repercussions that could arise from your actions. But damn, man, it's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, that needs to stop. Swatting and everything related to that.
Yeah. There's only so many directions that things can go from here, and none of them are good. So
thank you. Exactly.
Yeah. So we have been talking for forever, and we still haven't talked about PAX,
which is tomorrow.
Yeah. You're getting shipped out to Washington.
Today. Yeah, exactly. A reporter in Washington tomorrow. 1,300 hours. Is that where my flight lands? Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, man, it's there's a lot of stuff. It's PAX Prime. I went to PAX East, and I'll be going to PAX South. I think that's February or something. And that's gonna be in Texas, Houston, I think, maybe. I don't know. Somewhere in Texas, the country of Texas.
Might as well be.
I know, right? I was actually just in Seattle not too long ago. I would say probably like a month ago or so. And nice weather. That's it. It was like, okay. I mean, the part I was in Renton, and there's nothing in Renton. Like it's a total And I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but it's a blue collar town, right? Like every job is a very, it's like there's junkyards, there's mechanic shops, there's, obviously there's dealerships and whatnot. But it just felt like even the bars were biker oriented and stuff like that. So it definitely felt like very much a blue collar town, no high rises or anything outside of the hotels. But but getting back to Seattle and actually seeing the city, I'm really excited about seeing that. And then of course there's PAX itself.
Yeah. I'm super sad because both PAX East and PAX Prime, we've sent people from the WoW community team to, and both times my manager has been like, so I need to send people to this. Nobody else really wants to go. Would you like to go? And I'm like, I would love to go, but I have a friend coming in from out of town. Like both times now this has happened. Like for PAX East, I had a friend that was leaving like the day after, and so I didn't want to be like, peace out, see you later. And then this weekend, I have a friend coming in actually like on Labor Day. So
it sounds like you need new friends.
Apparently, yeah, friends with better timing.
This sounds like a really terrible friend.
Yeah.
Planning all these things around your possible go to the cool awesome convention times.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe we'll end up doing something at PAX South, and I can go to hang out in Texas or something.
No, I'm sure your friend will find some way to ruin that.
Yeah. Oh, it's February. Time to visit. Yeah.
So, there's a ton of stuff that we have on the schedule. We being Zam, we're sending for the coverage aspect of it. We're sending. We have a cameraman, and Lindsay, who hosts League Trends and Waypoint and Summer Showcase on various other shows. But she's gonna be going down, and we have a ton of things on the schedule to go and see. But just to highlight a couple, BioWare's game Shadow Realms. That's the secret world looking game that was teased, and we actually have a lot of info on it now at this point. But you've seen it. Right? I've seen it, but you've read the articles and done all that.
I actually haven't. I don't know how I've missed this. I saw a couple of ads for it.
So it's the 4v1 game that it takes a lot from Dungeons and Dragons in that you have like your assassin and your warrior and your cleric and your mage or something. Like you basically have like your 4 core groups, like your gauntlet group, right?
Right.
And you're going up against what is essentially like a game master or just a single entity, and this thing is going to create traps, and I think eventually you end up fighting it, but that is controlled by a person. So you have 5 actual players in this game. And if it sounds like Evolve by my description, it's because it is like Evolve, but it's modern day. So if you and the style, and when I saw the videos, the teasers and everything, I was like, this is like very Secret World. And you've played Secret World, right? No.
Yeah. Sorry, I had muted myself for a second because I was gonna type in I was gonna try and look up the trailer. I played Secret World. I played it in beta. I didn't end up picking it up, but
yeah. the whole theme, like I could have guns or I could shoot fireballs.
Yeah, exactly. The sort of underground secret society sort of feel to it.
Yeah, so that part is not present.
The secret society sort of thing?
Yeah, like you're not going to see the Illuminati or anything like that in this, but everything else seems pretty spot on between the two.
So kind of Shadowrun-ish.
Yeah, but Shadow Realms.
Ha!
Oh, man.
Now we know where they got the name from.
Exactly. So the way that they're going to release content for it, I guess, is going to be episodical, which, that works for like Telltale with like Walking Dead. And it's a way, I guess, to keep people coming into the game. It's like when they say episodical, honestly, episodical is just basically another name for like expansions.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's like episode 2, it's basically just an expansion for the original game. But it was typically used in games that were smaller than a AAA title, and a great example obviously would be The Walking Dead, with the way they have their things set up episodical. Yeah. But it's an action. It's an action FPS type game, and I will be able to actually touch it
Ooh.
Yeah, and play it.
Naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that because I've already played Evolve, and Evolve is very unique in the way that it plays and the way that things handle. Evolve actually feels kind of like, oh man, I don't even know how to make the comparison to anything because it sort
of looked to me like a 4v1 like Left 4 Dead sort of thing.
Kind of, yeah, but your character, yes and no, because your characters have, well, you had special abilities and everything in Left 4 Dead, but they're more practical in Left 4 Dead. But in this game, obviously, it's sci-fi, so you could do cool things like throw a trap grenade or something, and it will actually put a dome, like a gigantic dome that is large enough to encompass a large chunk of the map, so it'll end up keeping the evolved monster or whatever within reach, so you can continue to kind of basically pump it full of lead or throw other things at them. But it's Evolve's got a really nice feel from when I played at E3, and so I'm really excited to actually go and see if Shadow Realms is gonna kind of deliver on that front, because like it's all about these like small games now, Warframe, small co-op.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that now. Like even as games like Diablo are sort of starting to take holding, especially on like console. My God, that game is amazing on console. No, I'm serious. Like,
no,
100%.
I know. Everybody's telling me my PS4 is coming. My white PS4 is coming. September 9th.
You gotta pick up D3 and we can be buddies. But yeah, like that sort of thing. Like Borderlands. Pseudo recently.
Borderlands.
The sort of like co-op gameplay. Yeah. Obviously games like Left 4 Dead a while ago. Now Shadow Realms and Evolve. I really love the sort of outside the box thinking of maybe the teams don't have to be even. Maybe there's one person on the other team and he's overpowered, sort of thing. And that's sort of cool. Or even in something like Left 4 Dead, like there were 4 people on each team, but it was a sort of like on each team, like it was very different gameplay going from being a survivor to being a my cats are about to murder each other. Going from being a survivor to being a zombie. And I'm just really a big fan of the sort of new style thinking.
It appeals to different people. Like so Cody, you know Cody. Yeah. Cody is like straight up old school D&D nerd, right? Like he will, like when we went there to play it, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the boss. Oh, I'm gonna be the best boss ever." Raw. Like he was like totally feeling it. He was like, "Yay, I get to be the boss that I always fought with my group, back in the day or whatever, right? Across all the games that he's played." And he's like, he was so excited to be that thing. I didn't want to be that thing. I was like, no. Give me some utility. Give me something cool, and let me, basically be an asset to a team. Like, and that's the thing. It's like I was the team player, and there are a lot of people who play, all these different co-op games who are the team players. So where does that leave the, the ones who just go out there and just do their own thing all the time? That now this V1 is helping fill that niche.
Yeah, and it's just cool to create an opportunity for the guy that wants to be that ultimate badass to actually do it and actually have it be balanced in a certain way. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big fan of that. What else? What other sort of things are you looking at PAX?
Gigantic. Mm-hmm. So Motiga, indie studio in Seattle. They have the first title is called Gigantic. And we actually we got some exclusive footage. It wasn't planned to be exclusive footage, but it ended up being exclusive footage.
That's too bad.
Shucks. That we actually posted to our Zam channel. So actually, if you want to go watch it, you guys should go to youtube.com/ZamOfficial, and you could it's the only Gigantic video on there. But it's a really cool walkthrough with developers, and you get to see the games, because I'm going to describe it now, and it may not be the best at doing this, but if you've not seen it, which Laura, have you seen it?
I have not.
So have you played Smite?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine Smite.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah, it's starting to ring a bell now.
But with like a ton of verticality and a ton of mobility. Like I love Smite. Smite is a damn fun game. But being able to run and jump off of like ledges onto platforms, running across, beams and catwalks and stuff to basically dominate these or set up these small. So basically, you have these points that you go, and it's kind of like domination based at the beginning. We're controlling all these points, but at these points, you don't drop turrets. You drop like these little monsters, and these little monster things, and they could be small to like medium size. They all have different abilities. Some of them will attack, some of them will heal, like an AOE heal, and you control these points, and you have at either end of the battlefield is two gigantic. Gigantic, yeah. These two, gigantic, basically like PvE boss style monsters. And they will, every once in a while, they'll come out and just start kicking some ass, and then they'll go back. And then as you start to progress through the game, there's a point called the Clash where the map kind of collapses and everyone's kind of pushed towards the center and you have the final showdown. And that is where you have kind of a PvE setup where you have like, weak spots and you have to exploit that weak spot or expose that weak spot and then really kind of nail it. And at the same time, you have your own team, which is able to defend your boss, or you could go attack the other boss. So it kind of has like, you want to say that it's like a MOBA, but it's not. It just feels like raid racing of some sort.
Yeah, I remember where I've heard about this now. I was looking it up and I actually found an article on Kotaku, and they're talking about how the lead designer, James Fony, was actually, he worked on Guild Wars and he worked on StarCraft, and that's where I've heard about it. It's because a couple of guys at the office were actually talking about it. So, yeah, it definitely looks very interesting. There's a lot of renewed interest in this sort of again, it's this sort of small player, small team. We're seeing games come back that it's a small team based game like that again. After it was kind of a lull for a while because everyone was like, no, it's got to be MMO.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be MMO.
It needs to have at least 2 M's and 1 O, or else it's not a good enough game.
and now it's MOBA.
Yeah,
but it was very just like pigeonhole MOBA. Like everything had to look like League or Dota or bust. And that was it. That's all you could do. And now we're starting to see more of that brand. Smite was really helps that take off. And then now Motiga with Gigantic, they're helping that. Orcs Must Die, Unchained. Like that's another great example of kind of that MOBA feel, but keeping it very action based.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the sort of thing where like the concept of lanes and like item shops and like limited ability sets doesn't necessarily, even limited ability set doesn't have to fall in there. Just the thought of the MOBA sort of style of gameplay, the things that you think about when you think of a MOBA don't necessarily have to mean isometric viewpoint.
Exactly.
So you can go all like you could have a straight up full on first person shooter that's also a MOBA, and it could be, oh man, if they made a Borderlands game like that, I would be the happiest person.
That's what the next Borderlands is, isn't it?
No, I thought it was.
No. There's a Borderlands like is Borderlands like arena type game or something?
Maybe.
Yeah. See, Borderlands. I think it's is it the pre-sequel?
They have the pre-sequel, but I thought that was just like another Borderlands game.
Like with a story I might be thinking of something else. I thought it was. I don't know.
I could also.
That's another game I think I'm playing. So
yeah, I could have also just completely and totally assumed that that's what the pre-sequel was because it's Borderlands. But it also took me something like 6 or 7 emails before I realized that Orcs Must Die Unchained wasn't like their new marketing strategy or something.
Yeah,
I've been working on so many projects.
Oh, it was Battleborn. Oh, that's right. It is done by Gearbox.
Oh, okay.
And published by 2K, but it's called Battleborn. So yeah, sorry,
Right, okay.
I got the actual IP confused, but
yeah,
same people. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I have had my head buried in projects at work for the past like 3 months and just have not been able to keep up on the new games being announced and stuff, which is terrible for this time of year because this is when all the like big announcements happen because people want to launch by or ship by fall and so on. So, yeah. Excuses, really.
Yeah. So, yeah, I look for Gigantic. And just to wrap it up, there's a ton of stuff that we're going to go see. Is there anything on that list that kind of stand out to you at all?
Well, obviously, Heroes of the Storm.
I guess it's kind of HOTS. HOTS.
No, it's Heroes. HOTS is a different game.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm curious. What's Tryon up to?
So Tryon's got a couple things. They have Trove, Rift, and yeah. So we're gonna see the biggest things probably from Defiance. I think we have another expansion coming for Rift, I believe. And then there's some big stuff coming for Trove. Trove has actually come a long way since early access.
I remember
alpha.
looking at it and going, "This is just Cube World."
But it was not. It was definitely not any good. But it was unfair to judge it, and we knew then too. It was like it's way early. Like there's nothing in this game. Did it feel like they kind of jumped onto it just to kind of keep the ball rolling from Cube World folks? Probably, but the game has definitely become more advanced since then for sure. I can't really speak to how much better it is, especially because I love Cube World so much, and I know it's never coming back, but it holds a special place in my heart that I cannot replace with anything else. But we're gonna be seeing some more stuff from Trove, and there's actually a party going on with Tryon too.
Oh
yeah!
So you gotta corner Scott Hartzman and be like, "So, yeah."
Oh yeah, sure, I could do that.
It's literally just that, and then he'll tell you everything.
Yeah. But no, the number one thing that I'm going to be able to actually play, Don't Starve Together.
Which, by the way, is an amazing name for that.
Oh my god, dude! I'm gonna actually play the damn game.
I hope that you can like eat your friend because it's Don't Starve, right? So like cannibalism has to come into play at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the characters had that ability to eat other players, like maybe the spider one,
right.
because it eats meat, right? I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that was possible. That actually, I don't. You know what? That might actually move it up in the ratings. Like it might actually make that like a NC-17 game.
Yeah.
But no, it's.
I mean, it is Don't Starve Together, so like it wouldn't be very together if you were eating your friend.
That's true. But it's. I've seen a lot of the videos of their progress so far, and the way they're setting it up, it looks like it can actually be fun without being too punishing. Because Don't Starve is a punishing game.
Yeah.
One thing they did not do, which is something I was worried about when I first started playing it. I was worried that, it's like, I'm playing it now and it's super hard, but they're going to keep adding things to make it easier. And I was expecting them to make it so easy that like, anybody could go in there and play it and have a good time. No, not at all. But I couldn't imagine that style of gameplay, like super ultra mega punishing, happening in multiplayer. It would just actually make it not fun.
Yeah.
Like somebody walks by, walking through a swamp, and a tentacle arm comes up and just slaps him, and he happens to be just a little low on health, and tentacle arm takes off like 75 damage or something crazy for not wearing armor. And so bloop, that's it. Like that's a one shot for some of these characters.
Yeah.
But the way they're doing it is there's like ghosts or something. You could go back and like get your body. So it's like it's kind of like WoW style. Retriever corpse. So I guess like more like EverQuest. I don't know.
So for casuals.
So that's something I am so looking forward to playing.
Don't Starve is a game that I absolutely love and have played for 5 minutes.
Really?
Just because I used to watch your right.
Your
YouTube series about it. Like I would watch that and it'd be like, and then I would go in and play the game and be like, this isn't nearly as cool as the stuff that Mike B was doing, and I just go watch more of your Let's Play.
I don't have any of this stuff. Yeah. I went around. I'm like killing beefalo and.
Well, and like when when you're like, imagine the amount of time that you spent playing that game and all the stuff that you got and everything, and then one day like you just started from completely scratch without any new characters unlocked or anything. That's sort of the feeling that I got because I'd been watching your Let's Play for so long before I got it, that like I started playing from scratch. I was like, well, now I have to do all of those things.
But you get better at it. It's funny. I actually am okay with dying sometimes. Adventure mode, not so much. Right. But I've already beaten adventure mode twice, which is not easy. And if you watch the series, like you'll see, it is not easy at all. But it is very rewarding. And when you die, and you start over, like you know what you need. Everything is fresh. Like you know what you need to set up, what you need to gather, and you just have a rhythm. You just start going and collecting and collecting and collecting. Like I hadn't played the game in so long, and I think I downloaded it for like my Xbox or something. And I just picked it up. Oh, PS4. I was over at Buddy's house and I played on a PS4 because he wanted to see it. And I just picked it up and just started running around, collecting things, and before I knew it, like I had like all kinds of just crazy stuff. And I was chasing down those, what do they call it? I always call them snuffleupagus, but it's basically like this elephant type thing that you go and you kill. And I played so much I should know the name, but I don't. Yeah, so I go and I hunt down snuffleupagus and it just tons and tons of stuff, surviving winter and just everything. It's fun. It is just a fun game once you get into the rhythm of it, but it's very punishing. And to play multiplayer, if you haven't played for more than 5 minutes, dude, you're more than welcome to come in. You know that Shizzles is gonna be all over it.
Yeah.
It's a sandbox survival game. He is.
Yeah.
He won't play it. He didn't play it only because it was single player.
Dude, I had the craziest itch like yesterday for like Minecraft multiplayer again. I don't know why, but all of a sudden it was like, no, I need to build things, and I need to dig for diamonds, and I need this is my life now. And then I got over it because I played Diablo, but man.
The remedy for all. But dude, next time you get that itch, hit me up. Space Engineers.
Oh man. All right. You have yourself a deal, sir.
All right. Just let me know when you start itching again.
All right.
I will scratch it for you.
Well, that's rude.
And that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah.